Opening slide, graphic, text, Introduction to Self-Management Part 4, using the Portal with Jane Raymond and Deb Rouget. Logos, Belonging Matters, NDIS, talksthatmatter.net.
So our next session that we're moving on to is how do you self-manage your NDIS funds. So we're very fortunate today to have Jane with us, who self-manages her daughter's funds to help Emily get a good life in the community. So I'll hand over to you now, Jane.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, so today we're going to concentrate on Emily. Welcome, everyone, and who would have thought that we would move to online presentations, so I hope everyone is staying safe. My name is Jane, and today I'm going to concentrate on the very practical aspects of my daughter's self-managed project. Peering through the portal to get a good life for her. But before I begin, I just want to share a little bit about Emily. Emily has the following roles in her community. She's a member of the Melbourne Football Club, Demon Army. She has moved into her own home and became a renter. And last year she became an aunt, which she adores, but sadly can't see her niece at the moment. Currently, she has little employment due to COVID. She works as an admin assistant for a few hours per week, and she's constantly on the lookout for more work. We have self-managed for many years because it gave us choice and control over our funding. It's very flexible. We can arrange supports around M's goals and needs, and we can employ our support worker around those goals and needs. It was about Emily, not the service before. We've always been able to do that, even through our ISP. We felt fully supported to develop a plan around our daughter to ensure she was able to follow her dreams and passions. So when the NDIS came along, it was an easy decision for us to self-manage. Many parents seem to be scared about self-management, but it's very straightforward. Even Emily has lodged invoice amounts through the portal, and we hope she will eventually take on this role with some supports. In the beginning, I had many fears about self-management. Some of these were as follows. Will I get enough funds for Emily to have a good life? How will I track and manage those funds? Who can help me find the information I need? Will I have time to manage all this and still have a life for myself? How do I use the portal? Who will help me develop the plan? Now, having self-managed for 3 years, I'm finding the process is easy to follow and wouldn't do it any other way. I guess my only fear is who will take on the task once I'm gone. We are anticipating our son will take on this role together with M's circle of support, which has been a great instigator in helping us develop her plan. As Teresa reiterated earlier, it's really important to have a vision statement. So M's vision is to have a full, meaningful and inclusive life in her community. This means living in her own home, having paid employment, being able to take on further study, pursuing art and craft interests, fostering friends that care, finding another dog to live with, being independent, getting out more and finding her way around the community. She also wants to travel overseas to places such as Italy, Japan. She's been to Vietnam and Thailand. She wants to have a partner and be healthy and content. After developing M's vision statement, we broke her vision down into life areas and goals. These were the goals Em had this year in each area. I hope you can see those. To help with the pre-plan, we looked at Emily's week and decided what it looked like. This, of course, was important to determine the hours of support that she required and the transport funds she needed to get around. I was informed at the time that transport funding is determined by the hours of work she does per week. So as you can see, her life was fairly busy and full with work and her sporting commitments. To prepare for the planning meeting, Emily's Circle of Sport spent time doing a pre-plan based on things that were important to Emily and to support her to continue to have a good life in the community and to move out of home. So her vision helped us create the plan around the life domains, which Teresa talked about. To the best of my memory, the following occurred. We received a phone call to assess her eligibility. Then we received a letter to inform that she was eligible and her NDIS reference number. An LAC then contacted us to set a planning date, and we eventually met with the LAC. This took some time because we had to work out when it was suitable for everybody to meet. When we went to the meeting, we were well armed with Emily's pre-plan, which we forwarded to the LAC. Emily and her support worker came to our first planning meeting, just to meet with the LAC, and then left. Our son, circle facilitator, my husband and myself negotiated with the LAC, and at the time we informed them that we wanted to self-manage. After our meeting, we were informed that Emily's plan had been approved. Not all that we requested was approved in our first plan, but subsequent plans have been very adequate. We're now on our third plan and we've extended this over 2 years. So Emily received funding in both core support and capacity building. We met again with the LAC to explain the categories and where the funding fell into each category, and to explain the process of claiming the funds. She also explained if we wanted to change any of the funding details, we would have to request a review. LACs don't have access to your portal, so they may not be clear about the process. Sometimes you just have to wing it and learn for yourself. However, you can't go wrong, as there's always someone at the NDIS who can talk you through any issues that you have. So it's been a very easy process to manage. Before beginning, you need to make sure that you're set up as a nominee by the LAC, so you can have access to the funds and your son or daughter's plans. You also need to set up a specific NDIS account, which I've used ING because it's been very easy to access. I then pay for the accounts from this bank account via BPay or funds transfer via Pay Anyone. So once you have your NDIS plan. You then have to set up access to the portal. You are given a reference number and instructions on how to set up the account with your acceptance letter, which brings you to the MyGov account. When we formed an arrangement with Hire Up to employ our support workers, which we sourced ourselves as we didn't want to take on employment obligations at the time. Hire Up pay the worker and cover work cover and super. We pay Hire Up and claim this through the portal. It is important that you develop an outline of the role you wish your support workers to work to when working with your son and daughter, to ensure they know what is required in their support that you want for your son and daughter. The circle also helps providing goals for the support workers to support her with her needs. And also when we employed our support workers, as Deb said, we employ them according to M's goals at the time. So we have at the moment a specific person for planning meals and a specific person for doing exercise with her. Last year, we embarked on self-employment as we took on board a new support worker and were using a disability service to pay her. However, this proved to be problematic as they were unable to supply us with the breakdown of work costs in a timely manner. We took advice from People and Cultural Solutions, who helped us develop a contract for the worker, and that's been very successful. So once you have your portal set up, you can then use the NDIS website. So you click on Portal Sign In and then go to My Place Participant Portal. This brings you to sign in with MyGov. So you put in your username or email and your password, and you sign in. And then you're usually given a special question so that they know it's you. From there, you get to this web page information, which gives you a range of things that are available on the website, such as their plan, their contact details, any appointments you have, where to make payments, how to upload any documents, any emails you might get from MyGov. So once you've signed in on the points of access, you click on My Payment Request. Then you click on Add My Payment Request. Sorry, I hope I'm not going too fast for you. So once you get to the Add My Payment Request page, you put in the support date and the support end. To start with, I was doing every day individually, which took a little bit of time. I now put in the week's supports. So it might be for daily activities. So I'll put the week's amount of money in, support dollars, and then you click on the support category, which brings up these ones down here. So you've got capacity building, or your core funding, which is daily activities and social, community and civic, which most of my money comes from. And then on the new payment request page, there is also, excuse me, a part where you say what the support is for. Once you've made your claims, you can view your payment requests. So it comes up with a page like this which will give you the request number, where the money has come from, the support budget, the type of claim, whether it was cancelled, the support date when it started, the support date when it ended, how much you claimed, and pending payment. Sometimes you might get a rejection, but not very often. It's usually because I've had issues when I've come to the end of my plan and I've gone on to the next plan. So I've had to claim from one, not the other. But when you talk to the NDIS, they've been able to explain to me what I've done wrong, and they've been able to clarify how to make the claim. So I've never had any issues with rejections. So once I have my accounts, I can claim these on a Monday. Money from the NDIS is in my account by Tuesday, unless there's a public holiday. I can then pay my accounts on Tuesday from the specified NDIS account by BPay or Pay Anyone. So it's a very efficient process. You can also view any payments if you're not sure you've claimed anything by going to View My Payment Request page. So you click on this and it will bring up all the claims that you've made. So that's a sample of what you get provided with. Also, your support budget, it breaks down all your funds that you've been spending. So you don't really need to keep a track of where you're spending your money because your support budget will show you all these things. So these are the areas that Em has had. This is done last year. These were the areas that she had money in. So you've got core supports in daily activities, core funding for employment, health and wellbeing, home living, transport. So then it'll tell you how much has been approved, what you've spent, and how much you've got remaining. To track your spending, that can be done in many ways. You can print and keep your invoices. You can just keep a notebook with claims and payments. I use a spreadsheet developed by For Purpose Bookkeeping, Joanna Haritas, which helps me keep a track of Emily's spending. We've not been told anything about potential auditing. My advice is just to keep a record of all your invoices. Self-managing does take some work. However, Emily would not have been able to fulfil her dream of moving out of home without the opportunity for us to self-manage her funds. It gives us an opportunity to pay a stipend to a housemate for support she provides to our daughter. We have had to develop new ways of supporting Emily during COVID, having employed 2 new support workers before the lockdown. One supports her remotely via FaceTime and the other takes her out for exercises. Our main support worker has taken on a role of coordination and is able to direct the 2 new supports using WhatsApp and phone consults. This has freed up my role as a parent as she has stepped in to guide our daughter through crisis, which often occurs when living with a housemate, and the constant need to direct the support workers. I hope this has given you a good overview on self-managing and wish you luck in your endeavours. I would not do it in any other way. Thank you, Deb.
Thanks very much, Jane. Jane's got, so Jane, I have a question for you and then we'll open it up for other people's questions.
Yep.
You know those fears you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation that you had before you self-managed, did those come to fruition?
No, not at all. Once you got your head around how to use the portal, it was very simple. It's very straightforward to use, and it's quite a very easy process. And as I said, Emily was able to do it herself. We were away one time and said, Em, you need to put this in. So she was able to do that with some support.
Great, thanks, Jane. Teresa, do you have some questions there for Jane that have been coming in?
Yeah, just a few from the audience. So one question was, what might cause a payment request to be rejected? There was just some concern that they didn't want to incur a bill that they thought was covered, only to have to find the money, like find themselves out of pocket.
That might be due to the funding that you've been provided with. I haven't had an issue. The only time, as I said before, that I've had an issue with payment was when it was towards the end of the funding, changing between one fund to the other. So what they did was just worked me through it and said, okay, you've got this much left in that funding bucket from your previous funds. We'll take it out of that. And then you've got some money left in, say, core funding, so take the rest out of that. So yeah. I haven't had a problem with anything not being covered.
Yeah.
Never been out of pocket.
And generally speaking, you can see the expenditure where you're up to in any category. And so if you've got an eye on that, then you'll know that to track that a little. So another question, how many hours per week does self-managing take?
It takes me probably 2 to 3 hours, maybe less, depending on how quick I am. Because I keep a spreadsheet, it takes me a bit longer, but once I work out, the main thing is I work out the hours, say, in daily activities, and I've over the 3 support workers, so I'll just put in the total number of hours, and then social and community is probably the other one. So I'll work out the total number of hours for that, and then just put the total into the NDIS, and that's basically it. And then pay the bills on the Tuesday.
Thanks, Jane. There's a barrage of questions all related to support worker. I'm wondering if you could just outline the process of engaging, how you pay them, how they are engaged, like do they need to give you hours, that kind of a thing, so that we might answer several questions in there.
Sure. So the support worker that we employ under contract, she supplies me with a timesheet for the week. I then, and what she's done, so then I work out what area of the core supports that I need to take the money from. So if it's in the home, well, that'll be daily activities, so I do so many hours in that. Or if it's going out into the community and doing a shopping and doing those things, well, that'll become under social and community. So that comes under another bucket of funding. So I have to sort of divide the funding up, which doesn't take long to do. It's pretty easy. We also use Hire Up, and they just send me an amount with all the support workers on it. They tell me the days they've worked and the hours. So the same thing happens. Because one does exercise, that's social and community, and one does planning of meals and cooking support, so that'll come under daily activities. So it's quite easy to sort of work out where the funding comes from. As for employing them, the last 2 workers we did through Hire Up. I put onto their website, we just put out what we wanted. Then you get a barrage of people thinking they might be suitable for the position. We then interviewed them, and Emily was part of that process as well to see who she liked, and that's how we've employed them. So sometimes we employ through people have knowledge or contact of someone who might be wanting work, and sometimes we do it through hire up, but it's been quite a good process either way.
All right, so we might need to end up there, Jane. I'd really like to thank you very much, and please thank Emily as well for opening up her life, to help others learn about self-management. I've been quite involved with yourselves over the years, and it is. Emily wouldn't have got the life she has without you self-managing her resources. So full credit to you guys. So
and
thank
the
you.
level of support has been fantastic in developing that, because without that, there was lots about Emily moving out of home, without that being able to discuss it in a safe environment, I guess. So that helped work through the issues that we thought might happen about her moving out of home, and it's worked fantastically. So yeah, really recommend self-managing.
Thanks, Jane. Lots of people through the chat saying thank you very much for your presentation. So it's great.
I hope it helps.
Thanks very much.
Closing slide, graphic, text. This video was made possible with the support of the National Disability Agency grant, produced by Belonging Matters. Belonging Matters makes every effort to provide accurate and up-to-date material. However, information is subject to change and our material is for reference only. We recommend speaking to the NDIS, your LAC or planner for up-to-date or additional information. Logos, NDIS, Belonging Matters, talksthatmatter.net.